The Post-00s day-end master experiences 1,000 part-time jobs in Nanjing. Today, he is working in a community for 300 a day. The meter reader set an alarm for 6:50 at 7:30. He had previously worked the night shift at a construction site. He had a cup of instant noodles for breakfast. He rode his bike there quickly. He arrived at the community at 7:25. It was by the Qinghai River. The boss tossed 2 reflective vests to him and his colleague and told them to wear them. On the back, it boldly said Water Supply Emergency Repair. They were actually reading water meters today. The boss gathered them. He mentioned some precautions. The work he did wasn't just reading water meters. It should be called replacing water meters. Most of the water meters in this community needed to be replaced today. They stood in front of the replacement technician, comparing the forms with the codes on the water meters. If there was a match, he would mark it on the form. He made a mark on the wall and a cross if not. This made it easier for the technician to replace later. He and his colleague took turns covering a building. Anyone could do this job. If you have hands, you can do it. The steps were really simple. He opened the water meter box in the hallway. He compared the code on the water meter with the one on the form and found they matched. He wrote the house number on the water meter. Finally, he marked the wall. And so the cycle continued. As he moved around, he noticed the water meter boxes were quite useful. Some people used them as trash bins. They stuff all sorts of junk inside. Others use them as storage rooms, stuffed with large toys. They were packed to the brim. Sigh. This community was quite sparsely populated. He found very few people while going around a building. Only a small teddy bear in a cage in the hallway, barking occasionally. It added some life to the place. Before 11. He and his colleague finished covering their floors and took a break. Soon, the boss called them to lunch. He said they would start at 12:30, so they went to a nearby stall and looked around. He found a fast food place and sat down. He ordered a meal for 15 yuan. It was 1 meat and 3 vegetables, filling. He returned at 12 and rested for half an hour. The boss didn't move. He rested on a nearby recliner for a while. He also took a 400 a day job for 10 hours. A friend's job as a server was available. So, there are indeed high-paying jobs in this world. 300 a day jobs are common. 400 a day jobs do exist, but one must be bold in asking. Be careful not to be deceived by poor credit. In the afternoon, there was no need to check the meters. The boss asked him to collect the zip ties from the water meter covers. His colleague had just picked up 300 or 400 zip ties from 5 floors. He had to stop because the water meter model was wrong. He went to another building. After collecting, he had nothing else to do. He pretended to check the water meters. He wandered around. He stumbled upon a lively household. The place was full of flowers, like a bed and breakfast. He went downstairs after looking around. He was stopped by a chatty aunt. She asked who allowed them to replace the meters. He clarified the situation. They were just workers, and she started bringing up old grievances. She mentioned that her colleague's new meter had increased the bill by 50 yuan every month. He asked if anyone else had experienced this. In the end, his colleague was tying down the last water meter cover. He felt relieved after finishing the last one on the first floor. He left just after 5. Initially, he was offered 240 by the boss. He thought this job was easy. He suggested 180 for a family move. The technician arrived. He asked about it. He was also a day laborer. Coincidentally, he was also from the same hometown and had just moved. He moved. His salary also reached 300. The day's work as a community meter reader officially ended. Tomorrow, he will update about a 300-a-day music festival. A day in the life of a wild salesperson will be shared.